Renewal, regeneration, and revelation are coming to us courtesy of a new moon in the sign of Leo on July the 24th. There is a lot of excitement for this moon. It has a lot of electrical shock and awe in a good way from Uranus, but it also hooks up to Neptune and Saturn, giving us enduring, lasting results. But whatever this moon reveals, regenerates, even transforms in our lives. This is a Pluto hookup. This is a moon exactly opposite Pluto on the Aquarius Leo axis. We've only had one of these moons since 250 years ago, and the first of these was last summer on July the 23rd. So we're coming into this second testing of this new energy in our collective and individual skies. And in today's video, I'm focused mostly on you, although I will do a little bit of world astrology in the front end of it, just like, I'm not kidding you, 5 to 10 minutes. The rest is going to be a deeper dive in what is basically a huge transformation, a huge renewal and regeneration, recalibration, even, well, this rediscovery or discovery of something important in each of our lives, connected to the idea of what a Leo moon can reveal as it opens a portal to the new and unfolds its true self over 6 months. This moon opposite Pluto also reveals things that are hidden, things that we don't understand either about our lives, about another, about situations that we're going through, and having understanding, having a clear unearthing of what's really going on for each of us can really support changes in our lives. So we're going to dive into that angle today. This is my second Leo moon video. I put one out 2 weeks ago, and I talked mostly about Uranus and how the planet Uranus was electrifying this lunation. Was it 2 weeks ago or a week ago? But this one I want to dive more into the element of Pluto. I'm really intrigued by Pluto being across from this moon, and I really want to go into it much deeper. There are places and people in the world who are Leo sun, moon, or rising, particularly Leo rising Donald Trump or JD Vance, Leo rising nation of Iran, ostensibly Gaza or Palestine also being associated with the Leo ascendant. So these pieces of the pie and the collective are going to be influenced by this lunation. Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo at the time of the moon. That's another important variable. This moon suggests that by the time Mercury goes direct on 4 degrees of Leo, 2 degrees off of the moon's at 2 Leo, that we're going to see that turning point August the 10th, 11th, meaningfully connect to themes that this moon is also bringing up for each of us. So let's go ahead and do your sign. Don't forget, if you're listening for your sun sign, it's often career and purpose related. You're listening to your moon sign, it's how you feel, but connects you to matters of home and domicile. And if you're listening for your rising sign, it's your character in the simulation. This is the avatar that you play in the video game of life, and it often connects you more deeply to circumstantial changes in your life. Caveat: under the age of 7 and often over the age of 60, we begin to act more like our sun signs and respond more directly to solar interpretations. But you check both sun, moon, and rising in today's video, and there are timestamps so you can jump ahead. If you're new to my channel and your first time here, you might want to know a little bit about this astrology. My name is Lori Lothian. This is the Western Tropical Zodiac. We are not using whole sign houses. I love using astrology as a navigational tool to time my best life. And I often try to help you guys do the same by giving you these general astrology reports that can never replace a personal reading, but I am not taking clients right now. If you're in my Patreon community, you often get first dibs on sessions when they open, but otherwise, I will be putting together a list of recommended astrologers at some point. The other thing I want you to know, however, is you can learn to time your best life because I can teach you to fish instead of handing you a fish. And come join me on my Sky Reader yearly course. It comes in September, October, 6 weeks live with me, bonus modules, bonus teachers, me in the Zoom room, me in the weekly Q&A, lots of places to connect with fellow students at Discord or a group on Facebook, and have some fun learning to Sky Reader, time your best life, be on your own astrologer is kind of the subtitle. Sky Read, to read your sky, understand the language of astrology, and therefore learn 2 or 3 or 4 timing techniques that are simple and pretty easy to use once you get the basic sky reading tools under your belt. This is not going to certify you to be an astrologer. This is also just your first tiptoe in the water, advanced beginner, probably early intermediate. Don't take this class. However, if you've never even looked at your astrology chart, I can't take you that far back to say what is an astrology wheel and what is a planet. You want to have a cursory understanding of astrology to start this class, okay? Now, let's start and let's get going, and welcome. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, the class, if you want to learn more about it, check the link in the description box. Early bird access plus a link to the course description. I'll be updating that course description soon, so there's more, because I have more things in it than you can see in the last year's description. And I am also opening the enrollment on July 31st. If you want the early bird discount code for 20% off, you definitely want to get on the early bird discount wait list. So you'll be able to get that code. Check the description box below, the more button. Okay. Renn Butler, the archetypal universe. We're going to talk about this. Why? Because it's a deep dive into the archetypal energy of Pluto, moon, and Pluto, moon, sun. So Renn Butler will note that when the Pluto, moon, sun together come together as a trio, and of course that's there, the sun in Leo with the moon is a new moon, that you're going to find those three things kind of rounding out like intense and primal nature, feelings of empowerment and potential, a capacity for profound emotional and physical healing, wholehearted efforts to transform oneself. Remember I said transformation, revelation, renewal, regeneration, rebirth. And then on the dark or shadow side, a proneness to driving obsessions, ongoing emotional reactivity, determined attempts to change others instead of oneself. Now, Moon Pluto, archetypal universe, my friend and teacher Renn Butler, is also quite dominating on the dark side. In the shadow quality, here are some interesting quotes. Insanity in individuals is something rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. So insanity in individuals is something rare, but groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. Who said that? Nietzsche. Yes, the philosopher Nietzsche, who, by the way, was born with his moon square Pluto, a hard aspect. And this is an opposition between the sun and Pluto and the moon and Pluto, and that is indeed a hard aspect. Another quote, great bodies of people are never responsible for what they do. A quote by Virginia Woolf. So when I hear those quotes, I start to think about Palestine / Gaza. I start to think about Iran and understanding that this, and Donald Trump, understanding the moon as it comes into being isn't a 1 or 2 or 3 day thing, even though it occurs on the 24th of July in its precise new moon perfection at 2 degrees and 10 minutes of Leo. It actually will unfold over the course of at least 2 weeks of actions and things that happen in our news cycle and in our lives. And it unfolds even more deeply over the course of 6 months. So keep that in mind. One more thing I'd like to mention here about the moon is this. I'm going to show you something. Give me a minute. I'm going to show you the star Tigman, and I'm going to show you the asteroid Echeclus. Both of those are joined with this new moon. And this gives me a little bit of pause. And I'll tell you why. There's a violent death, a blunt force trauma story from the mythology of this particular asteroid. And it is exactly at 2 degrees of Leo. And it's interesting because we have to think about Leo nations or Leo individuals who are well known for this to be meaningful. This is not your story. This is more of a world event. Okay, although if you have a sun, moon, or rising at 2 degrees at Leo, I'd say just be very cautious on this moon not to get in harm's way. But also the star Tigman is about the shell of the crab, and the shell of the crab in the Cancer constellation is about being protective. It's the instincts of wanting to protect home and homeland and those that are dear to you, and to have that protective shell. But all crab energy is also reactive. One thing I will say about this moon is that I mentioned in the other video I did about it, there is a South Node Mars conjunction ongoing at the very same time as the lunation ruled by Mercury with the moon. And it can indicate something very intense in the world events to do with wars, especially connected to Lebanon or Israel or the Middle East and Iran. And therefore, I'm only concerned for the world that this moon, even though if it's transformational in the individual personal lives of each of us, and it can be very renewing and regenerating, because of the complications with the nodes of fate, which involve world stories, there is going to be a potential for this new moon across from Pluto, plutonium, anyone, or death or rebirth, sextile Uranus, uranium, enrichment or whatever. There's going to be something kerfuffling out of the ethers in the area of Israel, Iran, Lebanon, Gaza, Palestine. This moon will act out in that area of the world. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Let me show you the actual lunation. So if you're going to take a look at the sky with me just briefly, we're going to go ahead and do your sign shortly. I will mention a couple of things. There's a couple of cool or interesting factors here. This lunation happening at 2 degrees of Leo. If I'm using it, that's Echeclus. This is the actual blunt force trauma narrative that I mentioned to you. And I'll read the software for you. This is a celestial centaur body, 605. 5'8". It's a centaur who was killed violently, rammed in the face with a blunt spear. I'm just going to go rammed violently, blunt spear. Okay. Not an auspicious thing for any Leo people or nations in general. Again, to repeat, Iran, potentially Gaza, Palestine, certainly Trump and or Vance. And if you know any other Leos I forgot right now, please just drop my attention to them in the comments. I'm just looking at some famous Leo energies currently playing out in our current world. This is a new moon with that blunt force trauma, and Teigman, a highly protective Cancer crab star on the shell of the Cancer crab, about fierce protective energies and defensive energies in the name of protection. Don't forget what we read with Renn Butler. Some of this lunation stuff can be like, insanity is less rare in an individual, but in groups of people, it's common. So, mass psychosis, mass, horrible behavior has happened amongst groups and between groups forever and ever more in humanity's vicious cycles of war. So the other thing is that you would also want to use the lunar shadows technique by going back every 9 months to look at the other lunations connected to it, including a full moon and a quarter moon in the past. And as I go back on the lunar shadows technique every 9 months, and I ask myself about Donald Trump, I could have done the same thing when it came to Iran. I could have done the same thing with Vance. I could have done the same thing perhaps with the Palestine situation. But if I just use Donald Trump for an example, and I go back 9 months to October the 24th, 2025, we had a quarter moon in Leo at roughly the same degree, pretty close to 4 degrees of Leo. That's the lunar shadows technique, 9 months back in time. We see connect the dots elements, and that connected the dot to Joe Rogan. That was literally the 24th of October. He was in studio with Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, and then right after that on the 25th, the Joe Rogan Donald Trump interview episode aired, and many people considered that he got a lot of independent vote, a lot of the younger vote, and a lot of people coming across the aisle, so to speak, or uncertain voters from that kind of exposure. Particularly the Joe Rogan interview was very helpful to his campaign in October 25 of 2024. Now, if we go back 9 months before to January of 2024, in the campaign itself, there was a motion being presented to make Trump the presumptive candidate within the Republican Party, the National Party, like the Republican RNC. That was actually dropped and didn't go through. But what did happen was he was neck and neck. Nikki Haley and Trump had raised a huge amount of funds, and they were considered to be the two most likely candidates. However, Trump was still not sure he would be able to go through with this because there was a court case saying that because of the insurrection, he may not be capable of running for office again, the insurrection in quotes. But the other thing that happened in that lunation 18 months before this one, or 9 months and 9 months back, was Trump was Trump was back on January 25th, 26th. He was ordered to pay $83 million for a defamation case. You might remember that. So the defamation case and the fee and the fine made the news. So you can safely say between Joe Rogan and the big defamation case and all the announcements thereof, Donald Trump makes some splashy news, right? And you can say he makes some splashy news during these cycles. On July the 23rd, 2024, at 0 degrees of Leo, we had the energy as well of the sun opposite Pluto. And we also can look to the idea of lunations because it will be likely connected to Donald Trump. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about last summer and see how maybe Trump becomes a part of the big news story yet again. That new moon was actually on August the 4th. That was after 2.5 weeks after Donald Trump was standing on the stage and had a, clipping of his ear apparently by a projectile. And that was a moon that was also in a broad square to Uranus. But that moon isn't probably the main point. That was last summer's new moon. What's more important is that that was the beginning of our first sun, the sun opposite Pluto in the sign of Aquarius, sun in the sign of Leo. And we saw on the 24th of the month of July, 2024, that opposition taking place. And it's very much connected, in my humble opinion, to the energy that Leo, the king, and the death of kings, Pluto opposite, is a time of an era of Leo, which represents kingship, the king, the lion king, leaving our collective. Even Regulus, the star that used to sit at 29 degrees of Leo, is no longer there. We are coming into a time in history where we begin to see the death of monarchy, but it's more than the death of monarchy. It's the death of power structures that take sovereignty from individuals and apply them to top-down power structures. This is coming to a close. It is coming to an end. And it is no surprise that there was no King's Day protest, and that even Barack Obama said last year in 2024 during the fall campaign in October after the Joe Rogan thing, or around there, was it that when he said, I think so, he said Trump just wanted to be the king. And we're going to see that it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about all of the political leaders. It's Netanyahu, King Netanyahu. It's King Starmer or whatever. It's this Macron. It's this whole idea of the way leadership has worked. And in the ancient tradition, when the king is healthy, the kingdom is healthy. When the king is good, the kingdom thrives. No kings are serving the people. No kings are in it for the people. They're in it for their own money and vested interests and power and greed. And the kingdom and the people of the kingdom are suffering. So I see these Pluto-Mars oppositions until 2000 and Pluto-Sun oppositions are ongoing until 2042 as the end of a type of power structure. And of course, we saw that already. We saw that when the Sun and Pluto continually opposed each other during the time in which this last occurred, which is taking us back to the American Revolution and the French Revolution. We saw the same kinds of overthrows of old power systems. So we're in the throes of it. It won't complete until 2042, but expect old power structures to fall and new powers that are more for we, the people, to rise. Now let's talk again about one more thing and do your sign. And is Donald Trump in harm's way? Conceivably, he's in harm's way. Yet again, I've been saying this forever. It sounds like a broken record. I said in a video a week or month ago to watch out for health challenges, and now he's got this, I don't know, due to old age, he's bruising easily. He's taking aspirin. Apparently, he has venous, the veins in his blood aren't carrying the blood properly through the heart, etc. And that's common in old people and not life-threatening. So that's the news story that was just released a few days ago. I'm recording on July 19th. I do not have any idea what's going to happen before this video comes out. I've got an early recording schedule, right? Because I'm going away on a trip. But I'm just saying, it wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump ends up with some kind of trauma of some sort, whether it's natural causes or not, I don't know, physically, in harm's way or something like that. Now, I think I've got a screenshot for you. Yes, I do. This is another factor where the actual moon shows up in the world and what's going on in the collective sky. Just consider these ideas here for me. Tehran, which we all know where Tehran is. It's in Iran. There's Tehran right here, right here. And that green line is the wounded one, Chiron, who eventually dovetails over here, going all the way down to about this point to the new moon, with the blunt force trauma here, right here, and the protective star of home and homeland. So and that's Echeclus. And so and there's retrograde Mercury, things from the past coming back. This hot mess of a line, right, is also a place that when you look at Chiron crossing over here and coming up through Tehran makes me nervous. You'll notice that also this is a line right here, straight through this part of the world, that you may wonder if there's going to be stories coming up from these parts of reality up in here. Now that's Moscow way over here, and that's also connected a bit to this chironic wound. But it's also notable that Mars and this story right here, remember we talked about Mars and the South Node and Mars and the nodes, that Mars is also crossing right through Cairo, right through Egypt. And of course, Cairo, Egypt, Rafah, Gaza, Israel are all in this story right here. Mars South Node, Lebanon, Virgo rising nation, Israel, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Red Sea, Yemen, all of this is in this line of the Mars node story that the world is experiencing. There is something to pay attention to here in this lunation time frame that is also activated. Mercury is the lord of what Mars is up to in our current sky, and Mercury is connected to this moon. So this moon's going to catalyze things in the Middle East. There's Tehran, there's the chironic wound. So I would say even August, the first week of August, the moon is happening, of course, on July the 24th. It rolls out for at least a month afterwards. And in the first week of August, with an acute point on August the 9th, like its precise point, Mars is going to be acting in a very intense way, let's call it that, with Saturn, that can be quite destabilizing in terms of stories that involve Iran. So we'll be talking about that when we get to that part of the story. Let's do your sign. That was World Astrology. I think I went longer than I wanted. I'm going to draw a card for you guys today. People love when I did that last time, but I'm going to draw just like 2 or 3 words for each of you. And I'm using a great deck that a friend of mine gifted me years ago. And the deck I'll draw for your sign, as well as my astrological wisdom, is this card by Ariel Spilsbury, Binding Guidance from Within, the 13 Moon Oracle deck. My friend has passed away. He knew her. Yeah, he was a dear heart. So we're going to move into this story. Okay. A shout out to you, Orion. I know you're out there somewhere watching over us. Okay. So let's go ahead and let me pull up the sky. Are you guys seeing it? I don't think you are, because I don't see you seeing it, so I don't know. Me and the technology, me and Mercury retrograde, we are not getting along. It's as if my chart has disappeared and you guys can't see it, and nor can I. Let's try one more time. I see it, but it shows me I'm not sharing. Don't forget, please like, please subscribe, please help the channel grow. Nope. Okay. I'll get back to you once I figure out where my astrology software went. Hallelujah. It worked at last. Okay, let's start rolling with the story. Go watch my original video that came out. I think I called it a Uranian a new moon, because I really focused on how the surprises may come from Uranus with Venus and opportunity. I didn't know if I mentioned the opportunity. I think I did. So happy endings and opportunity infused Gemini sky interfacing with the Leo sky, bringing you something new. We're not focused on that today. We're focused more on Saturn bringing enduring and lasting results, because he stabilizes best he can in Aries, what he can. He's in the sign of war, wants to stabilize wars, I suppose, maybe tone them down or constrict them, who knows, or unleash them. And it's connected to this lunation. But when I look at this over here and your sign, we're not doing that story. You're not going to get a blunt force whack you know, like to your body or whatever through a spear. I mean, I doubt you're going to get speared. Okay. And so let that story go. That's for the world. And we're not going to do the South Node Mars story. Why? Because I've already got a video out on that. Go watch my Monday video that will be coming out Monday, the 21st, in which I talk about that South Node and the Venus square as well. And that's already going to be a resource for you. So instead, this video comes out on Thursday, the day of the moon, I think, 21. Yeah. And we're focused on the idea of transformation and regeneration. We're focused primarily on Pluto opposite this moon and what it can bring and reveal and heal and transform in your life. That is our primary focus. And, you know, emotions can run high. There can be intensity here. There can be emotional catharsis in this energy, but it is transformative, and that's the key. The transformation here is what's so important, I do believe, and the lasting transformation you can have vis-a-vis Saturn's influence as well. So we're going to start with Aries and move through all signs, and we're not going to be here forever. Some of my videos can be 2 hours long. I anticipate this being no longer than an hour and a half front to end. And if you're in the live premiere, that's your guide post, and please like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll be done within an hour and a half so that you guys can actually get on and enjoy your day, you know. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is a moon for you guys that is in your 5th house. And this is profound rebirth, regeneration, transformation, and revelation in the house of your natural gifts and talents. Unknown to most people, it's not just your hobbies and pleasures and pastimes. It's something you were born to do. It's something you're naturally good at. It's a dharmic talent or gift. You have inherited it. You sing not because you took lessons all your life, because you were born that way. So what is that natural talent and gift that can be opening up for a new beginning? And Mercury retrograde says maybe it's from your past, and Pluto says transformation and regeneration. Opposite you, so maybe an ally, a benefactor, a friend is going to incite you, reveal to you, reflect back at you this gift or talent or skill that is truly yours to use in this life. And interestingly, with Jupiter planting seeds in your 4th house right now, that if you follow your natural talents and gifts in life, not the things you learn, the things you're good at it because you were born to be good at it, then next year, not yet, but next July of 25 to 26, those gifts and talents will yield gains financially, more celebrity, more reputation, more joy, more creativity. So start now, pay the, you know, get the goodness later. Finally, this is also your children. This is also romantic love. This is also sexuality and procreativity and entrepreneurial and creative stuff. The muse is here, fresh starts, new beginnings, and transformation. I can't say that word enough. I sound like a broken record that has lasting results. Now, Pluto, lasting, Saturn, stabilizing, go the long game, make it unfold over 3 whole years even. This moon wants something really good for you. With Pluto over here, there could be a revelation coming off this moon about a sibling, one older than you, about a friend, an ally. There could be a massive emotional transformation, catharsis, and renewal needed in relationship to one of you and one of your children, you and a romantic love partner, you in relationship to a significant friend or ally or benefactor in your life. Now, let's see what the card is that I pulled for you. I'm only going to do keywords. This card says align. I know. I got my nails done and they weren't gels. Good luck holding that. And so they lasted 2 days before my real life got in the way of my beauty treatments. It's align, sacred tool of the wand, and it says your keywords. Now, really tune in, Aries, because I'm one of you, Aries, sun and moon here. Like, I need this. I need this vacation. Enjoy, slow down, strengthen, open, and sensitize. Align. I love it. I hope that has meaning for you. It certainly does for me. I'm a workaholic. Saturn on my ascendant. This is my vacation week. I'm recording on Saturday. I'm off on a vacation on Sunday for a week, more or less. And this is what I really need. But think about it in terms of the fifth house. The fifth house is your alignment to your dharma, and the card is aligned. The fifth house is your creativity and your pleasure and your joy and your spark of life and your wonder and your awe and your enthusiasm and your childhood like innocence. Why not grab it by the balls and go with it? And but first, rest, renew, and realign, and all the good stuff that we just read about. Thank you for listening to you, and let's move on to Taurus. So what about Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising? I'm loving these cards already, guys. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm giving you astrology and I'm giving you an oracle guidance. So having this energy here of this deep, profound revelation, transformation, and renewal is kind of deep energy of having to move something into place, like almost like with like super evolutionary force, divine willpower moving through Pluto. It is going to be about the root of the sky. And that is an interesting place. That fourth house where this moon is happening opposite Pluto. Yes, we had one last July 23rd. We had that thing happening July 23rd. No, it was really happening August the 4th last year. We had the same energy here. You might want to go back to last August, 4th, out of 2 or 3 weeks. What was trying to unfold here, where you are trying your darndest to renew yourself in terms of your purpose, your career, the thing you're showing up in the visible world doing. Pluto in your 10th house of career. You guys, it's going to be here till 2044, Pluto. You need to talk to someone who's lived through it. Talk to the Aries people. They can give you advice, because your career won't be one thing and it won't be stable, but it could make you wealthy. It could make you powerful, and it could put you in a position of great authority or influence. So with this Pluto in your 10th house, it's being activated by the new moon, the new beginning, and it's in the home, the midnight hour, your private life, what you do alone. This is not what anyone's seeing. This new beginning, this rebirth is very intimate. It's very sequestered and cloistered within your private life. And it's a profound inner transformation, because the fourth house is your moksha liberation, particularly from the wounds of your childhood and the dictates of your mom and dad and the family of origin and the way you grew up and the things they told you you had to be and do in order to be who you are, when you know there's something more to you than what your parents told you or reflected back at you. And even the ancestral line is here, the things the ancestors did, and you're like, oh my God, am I going to be just like them? So whatever you need to do here, it's about starting new and transforming from the inside out, caterpillar, butterfly, something about your past, your childhood, your growing upness, in the quality of privacy and alone at home, or in the context of people you live with. With Mercury retrograde, memories of your childhood may emerge, or situations from and people from your childhood may be returning back to you for re-inspection. Particularly look to his turnaround August the 10th, because Mercury will be close to where this moon was in the sky, within 2 degrees. He'll reheat it up for like microwave soup or something. This Echeclus down here could be, don't forget, rammed by a spear, right? Violently rammed by a spear. I'm just going to say, be careful here in the home. Not that if you're a Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, and particularly within the first 5 degrees of Taurus, you certainly don't want to have a catastrophically difficult home situation regarding trauma, right? Physical trauma. So make yourself safe. If you're not in a safe home, you're living with an unsafe person, then leave the home before the unsafety hurts you. Otherwise, I'm saying it's most likely inner transformation, death and rebirth, not things on the outside, coming into your face or whatever. Now, one thing about this energy to finish up, Pluto can be a person in power, and a father figure, an authority figure in a position of power. Father and father figures, Pluto is in the house of the father. And there may be some interesting intensity here in the 2 to 3 weeks that follows it, reflecting your relationship to your father. And if he's alive, great. And if he's not, just as great, right? Because the authority figures, the male authority figures in the life of you particularly, may need some reconsideration in terms of how you adopted certain lessons or patterns from the way that father figure in your childhood interacted with you is one way to parse this story. Now, what I'm going to do now, Taurus, is I'm going to draw a card for you to help you navigate this lunation, which plays out on July the 24th and will last certainly up to 2 weeks, right? So you can look up July 24th, 25th, time zone dependent, it was really July 24th. You can look to the 2 to 3 weeks after the new moon to give you clues about what it's about. Certainly within 2 weeks, you should have a solid idea. I don't think it takes much longer. As I gave you news stories about Trump in the beginning on the lunar shadows technique, a lot of what was going on happened to be obvious within 2 or 3 days after the moon. Okay, so your card is Transmute, Sacred Tool of the Peacock Feather. That's fermentation. Peacock is fermentation in the 7 stages of alchemy. And look at that. That's really beautiful. Sanctity, sanctify, honor, gift, gratitude, adore, and flow. So I'll leave you to understand that for your very own self. I would say that Mercury in the 4th house will return you to memories of your childhood. And maybe you can find the gratitude in that childhood. And the part about it that is connected to flow is interesting to me, because if there's anything I'd say about being a Taurus is you guys are stubborn and fixed, and flowing is not a part of your natural inclination. You guys are the least of the flowers, right? You got a bull's horn stubbornness and fixity about you. Yet the North Node is moving through your houses of wishes and goals and dreams, watery Pisces, and Jupiter is in watery Cancer, blessing you in the 3rd house. So right now, if flow could benefit you, I'd say try not to feel stuck or quagmired in patterns that feel fixed like a straitjacket. I'll never break free of this blank. What are you never going to break free of? Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron are in the house of past lives or addictions and self-undoing. Whatever it is, you can break free of it. That's where I'm going to go. You can break free of it. The next sign in zodiacal order. Bless your souls, Geminis, because my son has progressed into your sign 15 years ago, and I'm grooving with the Gemini vibe. I get to pretend I'm one of you. But your progressed planets are useful. Come study with me. I'll teach you about how to use them. But they're not the be-all, end-all. You really want to pay more attention to your natal sky and use the progressed planets as secondary, but they matter. So Gemini, sun, moon, and rising, of course, this is a lunation that is happening like it did last August 4th. It's happening again opposite Pluto in your 3rd house. Your 3rd house is lots of things. It's where you travel short distances. It's where you write and communicate. It's where you have ideas. You could be marketing, selling here. You can be doing skills-based learning and teaching. You may here be connecting with siblings and extended relatives, but also the sibling one younger than you. So there's a busyness here. It's your everyday world. It's your neighbors and neighborhood. It's your extended kinfolk. You know, it's a junk drawer. It's a Cajun junk drawer in the sky. But most importantly, there is this transformation coming off of Pluto, and it is flowing to Saturn for stability and lasting results. So I wonder what you want to transform and what needs to be revealed to you, particularly from Pluto's 9th house perspective. 9th house flow, by the way, to your Gemini placements is positive, but your 9th house is a Dharma house. It's saying things along the lines of the key to purpose, alignment with your true north, use of your talents and gifts, finding meaning in life and meaning, you know? And so Pluto here, yeah, he's going to want to reveal something to you from the house of God. And it can be very profound in terms of spiritual understanding or dream insights, revelations from your dreams. The 9th house was like the Asclepium, where people went to dream. It's a temple. Now, the other thing is that Pluto up here is in a house of book publishing, publications. Like, oh, I'm writing on Substack. A lot of you know that. I just started trending number 22 bestsellers, which is crazy. and other stuff like that, 95 in culture. I just was doing it for fun. But Pluto can bring power and success in publications, whether it's book publishing, whether it's publishing at Substack, just the word publishing. And the new moon is in the house of writing with Mercury, the communicator. And this is the writing house. So new projects and new beginnings in writing can lead to transformation, renewal, and regeneration in your life. And you may find that you get lasting career gains from this regeneration with Saturn in your 11th house. This unfolds as a recognition, perhaps, in the 2 to 3 weeks after the moon, but also keeps rolling on out as a theme over the course of an entire 6 months. One way to really harness this is to take some project that you'd already started and revise it, like the website that I'm going to be revising Skyreader, revise the course, revise the website. I'm building a new website, revise the book proposal for my agent Eileen. Mercury is retrograde through to August 10th. So to revisit and revise any of these projects will be very powerful. If you're traveling, Mercury is a protector of travelers. You're traveling to a place you have been before. Okay, so retrograde Mercury here means this is not brand new. You're not on a first-time journey. You have experienced this location of travel, and this travel can take place anytime from the lunation at about 2 or 3 weeks. Now, I'm going to give you your card. Focus. Sacred tool of the crystal skull. I met a crystal skull once. Magnify, amplify, activate, and transform. So ask yourself how you can magnify, amplify, activate, and transform anything connected to that third house. You want to amplify your writing, transform your course materials. You want to activate, magnify, transform. Go for it. It's all about the focus. It certainly takes me focus to rewrite a manuscript or to revise a website or recreate some course content. I'll tell you that much. So I leave it to you guys. Let me know how it goes, and let's get into the next sign. I'm having an absolute thirst attack. Next sign, I'm getting it for water. I am having like dehydration syndrome. Okay, let's keep going and talk about Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. It looks to me like a really cool financial transformation, right? Because you're going to keep experiencing until 2042 new moons opposite Pluto on the axis of 2-8, which are both money houses for one thing. 8th house, chunky money, inheritance money, derivatives, bank loans, mortgages, financing houses and stuff. Pluto here can be inheritances, spousal support money. It's just money it comes in a chunk. You don't directly earn. It's unearned income. Sometimes it's shared resources and other people's money. So that is powerful, transforming your reality now and through to 2044, Pluto in your 8th house. At the same time, new moons keep happening in the place where you normally have possessions. Your second house, I possess a house, a dog, a cat. No, I possess. What do you possess? I possess money in my bank. It's your resources. I have 100 hens and 60 head of cattle. Your possessions make you wealthy. You survive. In the second house is your survival house. It's what feeds your first house. You need the second house to live. And so it's the root of your wealth and prosperity, or thrival, survival. And this is where you keep renewing and regenerating and renewing and regenerating. The star of protection, protect your assets, protect your savings, protect your wealth. While Mercury retrograde says negotiations, communications, marketing or selling, or something to do with your past, and those words I just gave you, is embedded in the moon. You may have an opportunity to negotiate a deal that stalled before, especially with the trine to Saturn connected to long gains in career and making money in a steadfast way that's sustainable. And so there may be something that this moon says, open the door to negotiation, open the door to conversations about your long game and your earnings and money and career stories. Pluto, though, can reveal secrets. Pluto reveals secrets under all circumstances. He is a cloaking device in ancient mythology. He hides things, but then he digs and unearths them. He reveals them too. So what is there that you need to know that's not necessarily conscious? something that is hidden from your view and knowledge may be revealed to you. Oh, this is a big moon, man, for you guys. It could be a lot of things. I'm not going to guess. I mean, Uranus has got shock and awe to deliver as well, but it should be positive. But there may be some unexpected revelations coming from this moon. And it could be things that have been kept to you, the secrets of. I mean, the in-laws may have secrets, your spouse may have secrets. A close significant other could reveal some secrets to you. If secrets are revealed, they're meant to help renew and transform your reality. Don't think about some secret coming off this moon, and you'd find out pretty close to the 24th. Give it a few days. It could be ancestral too. Don't take it personally, right? Could be like you find out that your mother had 5 more kids besides you and you didn't even know it. Like, I wouldn't put this guy past anything. Your message today is the goddess of compassion. What does it say? I recognize and I seed. And your keywords are compassion, forgiveness, empathy, acceptance, unconditional love. Compassion, forgiveness, empathy, acceptance, and unconditional love. Well, Cancers, you're pretty good at compassion and empathy. Forgiveness, maybe not, except you guys hold a grudge. Acceptance and unconditional love. I want you to ponder those as this lunation takes hold. Maybe you have a secret revealed that you feel like you have to not forgive and you don't feel empathic or compassion around the secret content or the revealing of it. So this is an opportunity to practice those things in the wake of this lunation for sure. And that includes money secrets being hidden from you as well. Let's get some water for Lori and we'll be right back. Water. Let's keep going. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Help the channel grow. I'm hitting that old channel cycle. I've seen it with so many channels. I cannot tell you, minus a couple. They get to my stage of growth and they slow down in subscribers. My ad revenue, my views are the same, but my subscribers, it's preaching to the choir. The algorithm keeps showing my stuff to the same people. So please share with your friends and family who may not have seen my channel before. Thanks, guys. Leo, sun, moon, and rising. I'm so excited. It's all about you for the next 20 years until 2044. It's going to be all about you as you keep experiencing the death of kings. You keep experiencing Pluto in the marriage house, Pluto in the significant other house, Pluto in the house of your audience and marketplace. Wealthy, powerful, and rich people like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel may come to you just as they did to Trump and all of that and RFK. So get ready for a few years of powerful, dominating, rich people. Watch out for narcissists and tyrants as well. Certainly that can happen. Now, that backdrop story aside, transformation and regeneration and renewal through significant long-term relationships is the order of the next couple of decades. And every new moon gives you an opportunity to renew the lease on that story. And there was such a new moon last year on August the 4th. This is another new moon. And it will take place here on the 24th of July. And it will open some doors up in your identity, if it's a Leo rising, in your career for you Leo suns, and some new doors will open, powerful transformation in your home life and home and place of residence for you Leo moons. Now, it can transform where you live, Leo moon. It can transform how you see yourself and others see you, Leo ascendants. It can transform your career and bring you wealth and power to you for you Leo sun. Now, if this is your lunation, one thing I will say, Mercury is retrograde and it's taking you back in time to some things that have already been discussed or thought of or ideas you've had in the past that are now ready to be looked at. The transformation and regeneration of Pluto, though, can be revealing of something hidden from view, revealed by your significant other. And for a few of you, it might be an uncomfortable moment. You are very protective of yourself with that star Tikman there. One thing about your moon is it's going to give you lasting results with Saturn in your 9th house, and that's going to be true for several years. For 3 years, Saturn will more or less be there. So the lasting results in the 9th house suggest you may get some superior endurance in publications, book publishing, matters connected to travel and foreign visas and foreign lands, and maybe spiritual community and spiritual paths of traditional spiritual knowledge maybe even learning and studying from a master of some sort. These are stories that a lot of Leos will engage in the next 2 to 3 years. And as the Saturn transit is happening on this particular moon, there's a nice hookup. And there's something about getting a foothold in deeper purpose and meaning of life. That's one of the features that can come off of this moon. And Pluto could give you some insight or revelation, maybe through another, someone mirroring back to you something about your dharma, your purpose, your deeper meaning for being here. That's possible. But it could even bring in a new beginning through a wealthy, significantly powerful individual, who could enter your life. Enter your life. Oh, I'm dealing with so much in my body these days, guys. I just had a great conversation with a client who told me about autism and this hyper flexibility that I have, which I do, and how that might be, I need to do some core muscles and stabilize. All of my joints are out of their, can pop inside out, I swear. What I want to say, Leo, as I talk about me, is go watch the Uranus version of this video too. There's some positive surprises coming from your career gains, the house of elder sibling, from things that connect you to your long range goals and dreams. And that's in the other video, which will be pinned to the comments and also to the description box below. Last things last, okay? If you're dealing with anything to do with courts and divorce, or courts and marriage, or courts and significant other, this could also be very revealing of something going on in a legal matter as well. So there is revelation coming into your world. There's no doubt about it. We're all going to have that to some degree. Oh, this is your card. It is the alchemical goddess. It says the union, I am freedom, I am grace. I am union, I am freedom, I am grace. Well, I can't believe it says union, because this is happening on the self and other axis of your chart. Reclamation, keywords, reclaimed innocence, reclaimed innocence, reclaimed innocence, ecstasy, wholeness, presence in the present moment. Reclaimed innocence. That's so perfect. Look at how solar this is for you. And you are the sun, right? Leos. Ecstasy, wholeness, presence in the present moment. Wow. Leo is innocence. It's the childlike wonder of the youth and childhood and the fifth house energies of creative and procreative, but it's also full of that, like the sun card, the two kids on the horse of the tarot, or the one person on the horse in the tarot. But anyway, it is the sun card in many ways, this card. So, and it is the goddess. I am union, I am freedom, and I am grace. Keep those phrases handy as you navigate through. Maybe just screenshot this if it helps. Keywords. There you go. On to the next sign. Virgo, on July the 24th, we're going to see that new moon in your 12th house. Goodness gracious. Well, over the next few years until 2042, new moons keep happening here. As last one was last August the 4th, they'll keep reoccurring in your 12th house. If you have any desire to relieve yourself of an addiction and misuse or substance disorder, use disorder, certainly these new moons will continually test you that way, because Pluto in the house of sickness, but also connected to things you do that make you not well, will continually try to transform your relationship to escapist, addictive, self-undoing, and self-sabotaging items of reality. And so you will always do your best in these new moon cycles to start fresh, do sober July or sober October or whatever you're doing, and start all over again. Now, the new moon here is with a retrograde Mercury. Ain't nothing new in the sky. You're dealing with this retrogradation also last year. What are you pulling back from the past? And you're asking me, what past am I pulling it from? Who knows? It could be the recent past. It could be the deep past life past. It could be your childhood past, because there's a lot going on in the sky. You might really benefit from this kind of story by having a let go, let God moment. Like that South Node Mars thing is to cut, end, and sever, of course, with the the scissors in your hand, what you doesn't serve you. And there is a deep, profound element of surrender with the South Node. You can surrender, put up the white flag. You know, there's a reason that Alcoholics Anonymous, just an example, I'm not saying this is your thing, has that whole, you know, give it to God vibe, right? Because really, true transformation, and it doesn't come through personal willpower, but allowing your will to align with the divine will. In other words, your will alone is not enough. And therefore, when we align with divine will, which is always wanting the best for us, it does not serve us to be escaping reality, for example, the fake-o reality, but what we call reality. So universe is at your on your side. And it doesn't have to be an addiction. It could be just a situation where you feel like you continually trip yourself up over and over again. And this can end that pattern. This is your unconscious. This is your Akashic records. This is stuff you don't see very well about your reality. It's back behind you and you're not noticing it. And there's a new fresh start here. Pluto is definitely intensity in the workplace, colleagues, coworkers, bosses, transformation, regeneration, renewal, and revelation there. This is also a new beginning, connected to wealth, connected to hospitals, connected to a Saturn, for example, in a house of legacy wealth. Some of you may be in line for some money coming from somewhere that does not come from your earnings. This could happen. But more importantly, Pluto is also allowing for, with Saturn, some long game improvements to do with your work, your health, maybe some money that you're not earning directly. Investments, even in the stock markets. I wouldn't do that yet, but eventually. Pluto in the sixth house, transform, reveal, and regenerate. Anything to do with your work, your job, your path of earnings. It is also capable of giving you great wealth over the next almost 2 decades. And sudden wealth as he trines Uranus in the career, but sudden wealth from father figures, or sudden wealth from your career may occur over the next 2 years. And that's exciting. But right now, this moon is trying to get you to start fresh in undoing your own self-sabotaging aspects of self. We all have them, by the way, but you're really hyper focused on them during this Pluto cycle in your sixth house until 2044. And you go back to next summer, there's a similarity to what was happening last August when this new moon happened here as well. Maybe you tried to get a handle on some of the themes I've already covered, right? But now with the South Node Mars in your sign, which was not there last summer, you are absolutely ready for some change. Your card is the Lady of Communion. I intend, I empower. Ask yourself, what do you intend? I'm sorry about my nails. I already told you what happened. Independence, self-empowerment, power, motivation, and intention. So I think intention is great. I intend to get rid of my problem, whatever it is, but we need to also know our motivation. We need to power ourselves, empowerment, and independence is an interesting word for you. Mars has got a sword pointed at the marriage house or significant others in your life. You might be saying to yourself, I've got this. I need to do my thing alone, or I need to forge my independence, because, you know, the Mars South Node can make you feel like that in your first house. I got really dark light here today, but it's because the light is like coming in sideways. So if I look kind of dark, I can't change that today. I had to close the blinds. So yeah, why am I even telling you guys? Next. All right, Libra, sun, moon, and rising sign, new moon, new beginnings, new path ahead. You haven't had this, you know, you only had one new moon here opposite Pluto. That was last summer in August 4th. And here we go again. There's a transformation afoot. There's a regeneration and renewal of the following themes. What are your long range goals, dreams, and wishes? You want to start fresh, you want to plant a new seed? Do you want as well to start new friendship circles and groups of belonging and new allies and networks? This is something you can do. A new relationship with a sibling, one older, you can be older than you, can also be forged here. Ultimately, Mercury retrograde says things from the past, friends from the past, dreams and goals from the past, gains of the career from the past are being reconsidered. And look specifically, please, to August 10th, when Mercury goes direct, for more in sort of sense that story is indeed unfolding before your very eyes. Opportunities by emails, phone calls, and messages from your past, amplifying your career gains and your wishes for your career, your whole long, like 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year plan. Because this is a transformational moon, and go watch my original video on the Uranus one, please. It's already out. I focus on how Uranus intersects this moon. This is how Pluto is opposite this moon in the 5th house of the muse, of inspiration, of that which why do you get out of bed in the morning? What is the thing that propels you to move forward in life from a place of, I know what you call it, a place of enthusiastic inspiration, wonderment, and awe. Now, Pluto here is transforming from the inside out lots of stuff: your romantic life, your sexual life, your relationship to your children, your relationship to your creative and inspirational entrepreneurial activity. And he may reveal something. You can have a revelation about a love story, a lover. Saturn is trying to stabilize long-term love, but he can easily end it in the next 3 years. Some person in your life may leave because of it. If he doesn't make you stronger, it's going to be one or the other. Saturn will strengthen or kill off that relationship, perhaps. And now this is a moon that says transform, reveal, regenerate, romantic love, intimacy, play, fun, and pleasure, while at the same time stabilizing a longer term commitment in love or business or friendship. If it's important for a really important friend as well. New moon is in the house of friendships. Sometimes when I see a sky like this and I think about a fresh start and a Mercury retrograde, I think that you might really be expecting this moon to deliver that email, that phone call, that text message that defines the entire meaning of this type of moon. So watch around the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th for evidence of what this moon is trying to accomplish. Certainly, if there's a deep revelation of something hidden from view, it does flow to you. So you're not going to mind it. You're going to be very much revealing, and his equals healing. Knowing is good, right? And your long range visions of what you want to accomplish in your life, your goals, your dreams, your hopes for what you wish to fulfill, especially with lucky Jupiter exalting your career till next July, are being seeded by this moon. And over the 2 weeks that follow and 6 months that follow, you'll have more clarity. There's no doubt about it. You'll be able to perceive more deeply what is the thing that will transform you from the joyful inside out. The card I drew for you is I drew the card clarify. Keyword, sacred tool of the sword. Okay, your keywords are, that's like the sword and the stone: discern, penetrate, cut through, grow, challenge. So discern is interesting. So is cut through. Discern, because how can you have a wish or a dream if you don't know what you want? And I see this a lot of the times in people's stories where they just don't know what they want. And the sword that cuts through may very well be represented by Mars South Node cutting through your house of self-undoing, your house of addictions, your 12th house of where you are your own worst enemy. But discernment is required to know what we wish to fulfill. So often we don't have a clue, or we think we know what we don't want, and we make mistakes, right? I want, you would say, I want a Maserati, and someone says, why? And you say, because I'll feel powerful. Are there other ways to feel powerful? Often the motive is completely different than the thing we desire. Go deeper. Next. I think I'm going to be here all day, and I think I've lost the chart. How can I lose the chart? The chart is gone from the back end. There's no way, but it keeps happening to me. It is Mercury retrograde in Leo. It's been hellacious. Thank you, Mercury. All right. I try to find the cheerful side of Mercury every time he goes retrograde. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, what can we say here? You've got to be, new beginning. Sure, we always have new moons in Leo, but not in opposition to Pluto. We saw one last August 4th. Here we are again. And this was not as tightly opposite August 4th as it is this time. This is precise. So how are you going to be transforming, revealing, maybe regenerating yourself based on things connected to your childhood, your family of origin, you're literally looking at Pluto unbearing secrets from your childhood. Hang on. Whoa. I kid you not, guys. Over the next 12 years or 18 years, you're going to find out a lot of stuff about mom, dad, or the ancestral line that you did not know. I mean, good old DNA test revealing the siblings you didn't know you had, or something like it. So get ready for that to be a theme until 2044. Sorry, hiccups. Yet this new moon is happening in the 10th house of career. It's also the house of the father. And maybe there is a new beginning and a fresh start in your relationship to a father or father figure. Certainly, Pluto is in a surprise relationship to Uranus with Venus, with opportunity and abundance and thrival. And maybe there's going to be some financial support from a father figure coming off of this. Doesn't have to be a biological parent. And with this renewal and renewing energy of a fresh start, a new beginning, you may be looking to revise your career objectives and purpose objectives in a sustainable, lasting way that can really give you authority, mastery, and stability over the next 3 years. That's Saturn in the 6th house flowing to this moon. So any changes you make in the month after this moon or up to 6 months after a fresh start in your career is likely going to be something that holds you to it for at least 2.5 to 3 years after. This is not a temporary change in direction. And South Node Mars say the same thing. Let go of a source of earnings or a source of career gains. The transformation comes through what is revealed or what is unearthed, because Pluto is in the midnight hour and the dark hour, and he's also in the bottom of the chart that represents the land. So digging deep under the surface. Now, technically, if you invest in precious metals, semi-precious metals, or anything that's under the earth, and Uranus is there, you might have a sudden pop in an investment. I'm not going to say that couldn't happen, but the deeper psychological, spiritual journey is to reveal what is hidden, not just on the scandalous side about your childhood secrets, family of origin secrets, but also things you didn't see because you were too little to understand it. And now you have the discernment or the age behind you. Mars is your ruler. He's asking you to let go of social groups and belonging in friendship circles and career gains and ways of making money. Something wants to change in the career story. And that may take you up until, by the way, the nodal axis changing next summer, but this moon could give you a jump start in the next 6 months to change your job, change your career path. And I don't know that you have to do anything. It will be done, too far and through you. You're not in charge. This is happening for you. And I like it a lot. So one of the things I want to say is a weird card that I drew for you. I didn't expect it. It doesn't seem the most obvious. So we'll work with it together. But we always know that there's no accident. Sacred tool of the chalice, transmit, contain, center, flow, simplify, and empty. Now, flow, simplify. Flow is you. You're a Scorpio. You're water. Empty, sure. Empty the chalice of water. Center, why not? Contain, yeah, why not? Simplify. Well, I'll say one thing about the 11th house where South Node is traveling. We have multiple wishes, we wish away our lives all the time. What do I hope, wish, and dream will happen? And the 11th house is this fantastical, like 7 of cups in the tarot, right? But not all 7 cups will manifest the wish. And so simplifying the wishes and letting some of those wishes, relax a bit, let go, South Node, release and surrender, simplify. Like there's that book, Do the One Thing. How about wish the one thing? If you had one wish with a fairy godmother standing beside you, I know you're going to wish to have all your wishes come true, and you couldn't use that get a dodge clause, then what would you actually wish for? because that South Node Mars is saying, wish for something true. And by the way, the retrograde transit of Mercury through the 10th house can bring opportunities for new beginnings in your work and new wealth that you generate in that work, maybe because of a job opportunity or a situation in work and career from the past returning to you. For both Saturn and Mercury retrograde indicate opportunities for career connected to the past, reinvigorating and returning. I know if you're retired, opportunities to do something meaningful in the public eye from the past returning to you from this lunation. All right, Sagittarius, what you're going to do with the moon flowing to you from the 9th house of God. This is a moon that says that you are here to start something new, and it may take up to 2 or 3 weeks after you for you to know what it is, maybe 6 months to show you the full hand, Monty. Mercury retrograde tells us the new beginnings in the 9th house also connect you to matters of the past, old ideas, old communications, people from your past. 9th house is publications, book publishing, academic environments, foreign travel, visas and passports, things to do with governments and law and legal and court situations, and things to do with this sense of being aligned with purpose. Sometimes spiritual community and religion is here. Now, new beginnings, fresh starts, opposite Pluto. And you'll have moons opposite Pluto here for the next, till 2042, more or less. So what is it you want to do with that power? Because Pluto will always say, I'm here reflecting back the power of the third. Great for writing, great for communicating, great for social media outlets, great for publications of books, great for traveling in any sort of way. Transformation, death, and rebirth through travel, teaching, learning, publishing, social media, writing and communicating, book publishing. You got the lay of the land, right? Traveling pilgrimage style. The 9th house is a travel to a pilgrimage, to a temple, to the Apollo, to the Oracle of Delphi. Mercury is a protector of travelers, and it would be useful and maybe likely possible that some of you anyway, Sagittarius, will travel, take a trip or plan a trip in the 2 or 3 weeks that follow the July moon to a place you have journeyed to before. Mercury is retrograde in the house of long distance travel. Travel brings transformation, regeneration, and renewal. Transformation is powerful. Revealings to do with relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings as well. Maybe some deep, profound spiritual renewal and transformation through learning. You may come into a body of knowledge or learning that really captivates you from this lunation. And it will, especially with Jupiter and the occult mysteries, some of it may be quite spiritual or mystical or occult as well, that has a deep, profound transformation on your life. Saturn wants you to engage in stability in romance, and stability in creativity, and stability in entrepreneurship, and stability in life's enjoyments. And Saturn, Neptune are indeed in a flow to this moon. And I would say that some of you may find yourself engaging in transformational love stories. Thank you, Venus in the 7th, because you are in learning environments or traveling environments, not just in the 2 or 3 days after the moon, but up to 6 months after this moon. So are you looking for love? And if you are looking for love, relationship, this is one of the few people in the sky who could get love stories off of this. Okay. So that or grandchildren, but love stories. Oh my God, you won't believe the card I just drew for you. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I just drew passion, frequency of orange, passionate, powerful, free, raw, potent, untamed, wild, vital, and radiant. Let me say that again. Take a screenshot, guys. Okay, hang on. It is passionate, powerful, free, raw, potent, untamed, wild, vital, and radiant energy. That this is a moon enlivening you in a fire trine to your Sagittarius identity. You can't go wrong with this one. I certainly would say fire for your creativity, your procreativity, your sexuality, your enthusiasm, your joy, your inspiration for life. And the moon is trying to help you do it. Some of you will travel, some of you will learn, some of you will find it in the most auspicious places. All right, that was exciting. I don't know, I got excited for you actually. Hey, Capricorn, sun, moon, and of course, rising. Well, it's a very hidden house, right? The eighth house is one of the secret houses, the hidden houses. It's moksha, spiritual liberation and renewal there. New beginnings and fresh starts in the eighth house with Mercury retrograde, though. Secrets from the past can be revealed. Pluto is transforming you through the revelations. Some secrets can be voiced, especially regarding childhood, mom, dad, and the ancestral line. Saturn in your fourth house. Now, here, Mercury is also very perceptive. The dead speak here. So maybe dead people from the past are messaging you in some profound way. You might also have a sense of some money situations emerging here off this new moon that need your attention for new beginnings, fresh starts, renewal, and Pluto can bring you wealth. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get wealth, but you could get wealth from this, from the in-laws or from your significant other. The shared resources, the gains of your marriage partnership are in the seventh, eighth house. And so your marriage partner's financial success or your significant other may benefit you greatly, or you may also find yourself just meeting some very fortunate, generous people, Jupiter in the seventh, that want to support you in money and monetary ways. Having Pluto in the second house, though, is to reveal something, usually through spoken word. This is a speech house. So words will be spoken perhaps that are revealing and maybe of something unknown, unseen. And I don't know, Saturn, Neptune in the childhood house with chironic wound there, likely about your childhood. And a sibling that's 3 older than you in birth order could bequeath you money, give you money, bless you financially, or reveal secrets that you didn't know about your own family or origin that you grew up with, and your household stories and all of that, including stories to do with your grandparents under the sky that you had no clue about. Finally, pay attention to things like the stock market, your investments, your chunky money, money that you don't earn directly. Mercury retrograde and Pluto opposite could bring you wealth from an investment from your past that stabilizes you when it comes to finding security and safety in your home. Now, I just pulled a card for you, and it's pretty intense looking. I haven't read it yet. Attune, sacred tool of the staff. That looks like Kundalini snake rising up the staff, doesn't it? Tune, resonate, transmit. I don't even know. I'm going to let you sit with that. Capricorn, tune, resonate, transmit. Well, the eighth house is a tune house. Tune in to, moksha, liberation, the divine energies of spiritual awakening. Transmit, well, we always say gurus transmit Shaktipat. Jupiter in the seventh can be your teacher, not just, a generous person, a guru, a sat guru. Some of you may come off of this lunation and in the 2 weeks to 3 weeks after, or 6 months after, come into contact with a profound transformation and awakening, a spiritual liberation from the house of the childhood, from the house of your ego, the eighth house. This can invite a very spiritual type of journey for you over the next 6 months, Capricorn. Holy moly, Aquarius, I am indeed one of you. I am so long on this video today. You're going to be experiencing a fresh new start and a new beginning in the seventh house. Now, the seventh house is a house of your significant long-term marriage partnerships, your audience, your marketplace, your fans, your public. This is also the house of business partnership arrangements and legal contracts. Now, new beginnings happened here already, like last August 4th, there was a regenerating new moon here in a broad opposition to Pluto, not as tight as this time. You are Pluto, you are, divine willpower, evolutionary force of humanity is moving through you as you, and you are also potentially, suffering no fools gladly and getting wealthier. If it's your Pluto with your Aquarius sun is in transforming career, your moon, your home, your home base, your emotions. And if it's your ascendant, is transforming you from the root inside out. The character simulation avatar is under profound transformation of character. And as Pluto is here opposite the new moon, new beginning, fresh start in the significant relationship house, there is also the energy of this Mercury retrograde. And it means that maybe there are people from your past who you used to be involved with or knew. You don't have to have had marriage with them. Significant people in the past that you have known, getting in touch by phone call, text, or email. And because this moon is baking in a Mercury retrograde, look for that possibility over the course of not only 2 to 3 weeks after the July 24th moon, but up to 6 months later. This new moon is also connected, of course, to Saturn in the third house, and it really helps you stabilize communicating, writing, and teaching audience, marketplace, and clients, projects, and endeavors. It will allow for a new beginning and a fresh start, and it will allow for stability and long game strategies. Traveling to a place you've been before with a significant long-term relationship partner may occur under this lunation. Like, for instance, I'll be traveling to a place I've been before for vacation with a significant other in my life. It's very literal. Ultimately, well, though, this is another element to the story. You know, every new moon is something new that has to happen. And because this is not about you, but about someone else, this is the house of the other, then the other person may also be going through a new beginning, a fresh start, and a transformation. With the centaur body of Echeclus there, who got, hit by a spear, right? Killed by a spear. This is a little bit daunting. And I will just give you a heads up. I don't think it's you that gets, jabbed by a spear, but there can be something intense going on in the life of your partner. That if you have a partner, I wouldn't start a romance under this, that they're going to be dealing with, especially that surprises them or you with Uranus involved, right? So it's definitely important that if you're in a longer term relationship and you have a partner, to give them some advice, particularly regarding maybe cardiovascular matters or electrical currents, like Uranus can represent things to do with the brain or electricity. So that you definitely want them to be more careful regarding matters of their health. And not all 6 months after the moon, just around the moon, right? Just around July the 24th, a few days after that. I kind of also would say any chironic wounds you've had around writing and teaching and learning and neighbors and neighborhood are trying to shift really with Saturn here and in your third house and the new moon in the seventh. It is a writing house, and certainly if you've had wounds like I have around writing, Substack, thank you for helping heal me. You're going to find some success, maybe a new beginning in how you reach an audience or marketplace through things you communicate, teach, and write. And the powerful revelations and insights that this moon can bring are all about how you see you in the mirror of your audience, in the mirror of your clients, in the mirror of your public, in the mirror of your significant relationships. They will mirror back to you elements of yourself that you were unable to witness or discern or see all by yourself. If a new relationship could come out of this, whether you're with someone now or not, then because of Uranus and Venus and their placement in your fifth house, it will be a very surprising and unexpected new relationship connected to romance and commitment. Now, what I'm going to do is stop the share, and I'm going to show you your card that I just drew. The keyword is expand. It's a sacred tool of the senses. Well, with Venus, Uranus in the fifth house, sextiling the moon, it doesn't surprise me that this looks like a erotic dancer. Feel, respond, presence, open, sensitized, generosity, and grateful. I'll just leave you with the vibe. It is happening in your second house, seventh house of committed love, and your fifth house of romantic and sexual energy, because Uranus sextiles this moon and opens up electrical shock currents, maybe some really hot and unexpected surprises from this moon in love and romance of some sort. Long game strategy is transformation, because Pluto is working with your sun, your career, your Aquarius moon, your feelings, your mind, and your home, and your rising sign, your character in the simulation. Let's continue for the last but not least, Pisces sun, moon, and rising, best and always best. I'm losing my voice from talking today. I taught an hour and a half class. I had an hour and 15 minutes with a client, and now I'm straight to you guys. So sorry about that. All right, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. What is going on is a new beginning, fresh start, new moon. It is with Mercury retrograde in the house of work. Going back to work you've done before, old work projects, colleagues, and co-workers from the past returning to you, a lost pet coming home at last, a situation of a new beginning with health, information and blood tests and blood work about an old health problem, giving you a fresh lease on that health challenge and a new direction. Those are possibilities. Pluto is transformation and regeneration and revealing revelation, especially that which is hidden from view. This can be very profound because Pluto in the 12th house could reveal to you something from a past life, something from your unconscious, something from something that was definitely buried deep within the unknown realms of the 12th, the hidden realms. And so if you do these kinds of revelations, Saturn says it'll help you with money stability. There's something about stabilizing your possessions, your earnings, and your wealth. And certainly the moon and the sixth and the Pluto and Saturn in your second indicate a change of positive change, I think, of wealth generated from your job, your career, and your work direction. I definitely think you could have some shocking surprises regarding matters of childhood stories connected to prosperity or wealth. New revelation understanding is available, particularly like an illumination, a lightning strike about how you see money vis-a-vis your childhood. And maybe you didn't ever understand that you got some kind of childhood script or malware, some malware that money is evil, or I'm not worthy of money, or you'll never amount to anything and money will always run from you. I mean, who knows what malware from your childhood programs are playing out, but electrical shock of illumination, Venus with prosperity and happy endings can reveal them to you. Some of you may find that things that were buried in your childhood are now easy and clearly discerned and understood, and you can break free of patterns of ancestral and childhood karma and stories that hold you back from financial wellness. The moon is in the work house and the debt house, and you may be able to new beginnings and blunt force trauma, a debt, eliminate a debt. Watch out for that South Node and Mars in the house of your significant relationships. That can create separation, loss, disappointment, and endings. And it's not directly connected to the moon, other than that Mercury is ruling what Mars does as he fuses with this moon. I would pay specific attention to August 9th for some deep turbulence in any longer term committed love stories that are asking you to break a karmic debt, complete a cycle of a situation with somebody in a relationship to you. It doesn't have to be your marriage partner. It can be anybody that is very important to you in your life, and changing a cycle of that relationship and letting it go. And I don't know that you're always going to find your answer in the moon, like, hey, July 24th, add, a couple of weeks, because this cycle in the seventh house doesn't really close out till next summer. But some of the seeds of what can change in your long-term love relationship are being generated from a Leo moon ruled by Mercury, ruler of your seventh house. I drew an interesting card for you. It's called the Priestess. It says amplify still in stillness. The North Node's traveling through your sign, Pisces, is asking for powerful growth and spiritual evolution of your Pisces sun, your career, Pisces moon, your home, but Pisces rising, your character in the simulation. Flow, silence, stillness, balance, signs, crossroads, intuition, key, and mirror. Mirror makes sense in the sense that you have Mars South Node traveling through the house of other, and whatever goes on with the other will mirror something back to you about who you are to become. The North Node is what you are becoming energetically, and the South Node is what you were, what you had become. So there's a transformation in relationship dynamics independently of this moon, but enmeshed with this moon. Finally, if you're somebody you dated in the past, Mercury is retrograding in the house of dating. So someone that you dated in the past may reemerge, email, phone calls, text messages. Pay attention to that. Even a significant spousal type past relationship and communication with that ex could emerge off of this for your inspection, for your reflection, and for your self-understanding. That's what I got. I often have an outro story at the end of most of my videos, but I don't today. I'm getting ready for a vacation. It's getting late in the day on July 19th. The world may have gone to hell in a handbasket by Thursday when this video is dropped, although you never know, I might drop it on a Wednesday. All said and done, though, wishing you guys the best. Hang in there. Life is unfolding and the moon is a part of it. I will get back to my outros of information I want you to know about later. Only thing I could say is I did discover that I know I'm autistic, spectrum disorder, high masking female with attention deficit disorder. That one is not a surprise, but I just had a client today who noted my body language. I'm always bracing myself like this, or have a leg up like this. And she talked about there's a particular genetic sequence that goes with people of hypermobility who have POTS, which is this thing where you faint when you stand up and lose blood pressure. I have that one too. Mast cell disorder. My daughter has that one, and I've had episodes of it. Hypoallergic responses connected to nothing in particular. And the third one is, of course, ADD and autism. They all share a certain gene sequence and they're all interconnected. And so I just found out that the reason I'm like, I am, if anyone else is autistic, you're listening, hypermobile, super joint flexibility. I was every yoga teacher's darling in the yoga room. I can bend backwards. Everything I can flex except backwards, but I'm very hip flexible. And it turns out that one of the things I need to do, because I have this hyper flexibility, which is often co-present with autism, is I need to do more core strengthening exercises. I need to do more Pilates and sit-ups and all that good stuff, which I'm lazy as F and not doing. So, and that makes so much sense because the older I get, the more this flexibility is leading to instability in my joints, particularly in my SI joint and now my popping shoulder joint. I need to build up the muscles around my joints to keep them from being so flexible, they're floating all over the place, impacting muscles and surrounding nerve tissue. That's a little outro for anybody here who might think that they have autism. You might also have hyperflexibility, mast cell disorders, and POTS. I can't, it's like postural something disorder, but it means that when you go to stand up, sometimes you're going to faint, right? Your blood pressure, your parasympathetic nervous system fucks up. I literally have fainted couple of times in my life for no good reason other than standing up. All right, ciao, ciao, bye-bye. I mean, fainted, not felt like I was going to faint. Okay, bye, guys.